Right. This is the story of Little Miss Neat, the 105th book reading. Little Miss Neat was a very tidy person. Probably the tidiest person in the world. She lived in Two Pin Cottage. It was called Two Pin Cottage because she kept it as neat as 2 new pins. She just couldn't stand a mess. Every day she spent all day polishing and dusting and cleaning and making sure that things were in their proper places. One morning, Little Miss Neat awoke in her bedroom at Two Pin Cottage. She looked out of her bedroom window. It had been raining during the night, and there was a little puddle in the middle of her garden path. Oh, she gasped in horror and rushed outside with a duster. She mopped up every drop of puddle, and then she rushed inside and washed the duster, and then she ironed the duster, and then she folded the duster, and then she placed the duster very neatly back in its drawer. Everything in Two Pin Cottage had its proper place. Now, this story is about the time that Little Miss Neat went on holiday. She always went away for 1 week every summer, and this year was no different. She spent 2 weeks packing, and then she spent a whole day polishing her suitcase. Then off she set, leaving Two Pin Cottage all spick and span and neat and tidy. Oh, I hope it doesn't get too dusty while I'm away, she thought as she closed the door behind her. But something worse than dusty was going to happen to Two Pin Cottage. Would you like to know what? Mr. Muddle came to tea. He'd written to Little Miss Neat to tell her, but being Mr. Muddle, he'd somehow got in a muddle posting the letter. Actually, what was happened was that when Mr. Muddle went to post the letter, he had the letter in one hand and a half-eaten sandwich in the other. And then you can guess what happened, can't you? That's right, he posted the sandwich. A toasted cheese sandwich. It'll be nice seeing Miss Neat again, he chuckled to himself as he walked home. The sandwich was a bit chewy, he thought. It was the day after Miss Neat left that Mr. Muddle arrived. He walked up the garden path of Two Pin Cottage and knocked at the door. No reply. "Goodbye," he shouted. He should have been hello, but he isn't called Mr. Muddle for nothing. "Nobody home?" he called. He pushed open the door. "Oh dear," he thought as he looked around. "Nobody home. Never mind," he thought. "I'll make myself a cup of tea and wait for Miss Neat." So he went into the kitchen at Two Pin Cottage, made himself a cup of tea, and waited. And waited. And waited. And waited. And went home. Little Miss Neat stepped out of the taxi outside Two Pin Cottage. "That was a lovely holiday," she said, paying the taxi driver, "but it's nice to be home." She walked up the garden path and went in through the door. "Not too dusty," she said to herself, looking around. "I think I'll make myself a nice cup of tea before I start unpacking." But making tea after a Mr. Muddle visit isn't quite as easy as it sounds, because Little Miss Neat eventually found the teapot, not in its proper place, in the refrigerator, and then she eventually found the milk, not in its proper place, in the teapot, and the tea in the sugar bowl, and the sugar in the milk jug, and the cup in the oven, and a saucer in the bread bin. But could she find a teaspoon? She could not. The telephone rang. Little Miss Neat picked it up. "Hello," she said. At the other end of the line, Mr. Muddle suddenly realised he was holding the telephone the wrong way round. So he turned it the right way round. "Goodbye," he said. "Who's that?" asked Miss Neat. "It's you," replied Mr. Muddle. Miss Neat thought. "It's Mr. Muddle, isn't it?" she guessed. "Yes," replied Mr. Muddle, getting it right for once. "And you paid me a visit while I was away on holiday, didn't you?" she guessed again. "Yes," replied Mr. Muddle, getting it right for twice. "Can I come and see you now you're back?" "I suppose so," sighed Miss Neat. "Goodbye." "Hello," said Mr. Muddle, and put the phone down. Little Miss Neat sighed a heavy sigh and sat down in the armchair next to the telephone. Ouch! She looked underneath the cushion, and what did she find? There were all her teaspoons and forks and knives and forks. I don't think Little Miss Neat will be taking a holiday next year. Do you? I wouldn't think so either, especially if Mr. Muddle comes by to visit again.